Basically, what we're building is a decentral or a voting mechanism or a decision-making mechanism. Now, a group of people get together and then decide if they want to do something, is fundamentally how it works. There are three different ways a group of people can do that. If it's a small group of people, they can basically create a multi-sig. Now, the multi-sig is a smart contract called Gnosis Safe. Gnosis Safe is the industry standard on EVMs, and we deployed it. We had to modify it slightly and so on, but it is an industry standard way of doing multi-sigs on EVMs, and most people work that way. The other option is a token holder. So, for example, you can create a token called ABC token, and you give it to your friends, and then based on how many tokens they have, it is dependent on how important their vote is, or how much weight their vote is, or it could be an NFT. So you mint an NFT, and then it's the number of NFTs you own contributes to how much vote weight you have. Okay, so it can basically be used that way. Now, the important thing to note on this for legal terms is we don't manage the distribution of the tokens or the NFTs. We have a page to allow you to mint one, and that will go to the person or to the account holder creating the DAO. So we will give you 1 million FUBAR tokens, and it is up to you to distribute them to your friends or family or whoever you choose to. That's outside of our control. One of the things we then do is we allow people to decide on or make decisions. So the first thing we can do is create a proposal. I can walk you through this if you want on a website, but fundamentally, you create a proposal and you go, hey, I think we should turn left at the next intersection. And it's a text proposal, and then everybody who can vote can potentially participate in that to say if we should turn left. It is a yay or nay decision. It's not like you have three different choices. It's a text thing, which is yes or no. It's a very simple type thing. The other type of proposal is we want to send money from our treasury to somebody. So one of the other features of the DAO is a treasury. So we basically can just push or send tokens into the treasury, and anybody can send them. So you can send HBAR into it, you can send ABC into it, as long as ABC is associated, and so on. Then once we've done that, you can then make decisions on who you want to send the money to. So if you have a development arm or you want to do a marketing push, and the marketing push wants to say cost you 50 HBAR, you can put a proposal up to send that wallet 50 HBAR. So that's basically in a nutshell what the thing is. Now, it sounds pretty simple. That's because the job is fundamentally simple, but it frees up a lot of different things for a community. There is no central person making decisions. There is no team responsible for upgrades, and there is no person behind the scenes controlling levers, so to speak, to make changes on something. So for financial applications, this is very important, and for legal reasons, it is also very important. So let me just share my screen now, because I've talked enough, just to give you a brief overview of what it looks like. When you first come in, you are presented with a screen showing the existing DAOs. You can click on My DAOs as well. You can click on Create a New DAO. And sorry, before you go into this, there is another disclaimer that will show up first to make sure that you're doing the right thing and you haven't got bad intentions. We have another thing in here, disclaimer, you need to agree on this. And it still says wallet address there. It has been changed to account, so I haven't pushed the pull request through yet. You click on next, you give a name, say, and again, you can call this whatever you choose. It doesn't really care. Okay. The one thing which always gets me is you need a logo for your DAO. So I chose one just randomly of a cat. And ideally, you need a website for people to go to. This would be the main thing for your DAO. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fully domain. It can just be a web page somewhere. So I click on next. It gives me the three choices. The governance model is the token-based one, which is a HTS-enabled token. A multi-sig is a multi-sig, and an NFT is an NFT. It is not free. We do actually charge 1 HBAR or whatever we choose to create these things. The main reason for this is not to make money, it's more spam prevention. So we don't want people just to create millions of these. So that's what the 1 HBAR is for. Okay. So as I'm creating a governance token, it's asking me to create a new token. So it is asking me here, I'm going to call this, what do I call the DAOs? I think I'll call it happy token. That's the cat and the initial thing. Okay, and my wallet address is, and again, this will say token in a second. Now you can come and play along as well. You don't need me to watch me type. You can come in here and do your own one. Usually when that happens, there's usually a lot of other people find concerns and all that. You hit create token. Yeah.
Was the number of decimals fixed at 8, or was that a grayed out placeholder that anyone can edit?
It looks like it's fixed at the moment. Again, we are calling the HTS API for this. And then we can change that later.
Okay.
All right, I need to sign in. Give me 1 second. As you can see, the happy token was successfully created. This isn't really a smart contract. This is just calling the regular tokens. And as you can see, it has basically passed me the treasury wallet. Quorum, I'm going to set at 20%. Typically, do not set this up to be too high because nobody really votes in reality. So you want that as a minimum, as a quorum. The voting duration, I'm going to put here 5 minutes. The delay period is an option, so you can actually make it so that the governance proposal has to be live for a certain period of time before people can vote on it. Okay, so this is a fancy DAO. It's going to example.com and it's governance token. Hit submit, approve. Give it a second and it should show up. The fancy DAO should show up here. If anybody wants some of these tokens, let me know and I can send them to you. So in my wallet, I have got there. So fancy DAO. If I come in here, I can associate a token. So for example, before I can send you happy tokens, you need to associate. You click on that, you give the token ID, which I can provide, and you can get happy tokens. So it's just a quick thing to do that. Now, obviously, the smart contract can take happy tokens. So I can basically send some in. There it is. That's the associate token. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. My demos are usually better than this. But I'm going to send in some HBAR. So we'll just put in 473. Okay. So what I have done is I've basically put into the treasury 400 HBAR. Doesn't really make sense to put your own token into the treasury, but you can if you need to. And now this DAO is set up fundamentally. Okay. In order for me to vote, I need to also then deposit my happy token into the vault. One of the key differentiators between this and what you'd see on Ethereum is we don't do snapshots. We basically we lock your tokens for the period of the vote so that you can't move them around and start playing around. So I'm going to put in half the allocation in here. So I've just locked 500,000 of the happies, or however many zeros that is. So I should have a voting power in a second. Now, what I want to do is actually have another token in here. There. So in here to play with, it doesn't necessarily have to be happy token. I want to put it in another one. So let's call this the this is where you'd have a forum, so you can actually talk about this thing. You need it. Okay. So what I have done here is I basically want the HashDAO token to be in my treasury. So I've put a proposal so I can associate that with people, with the wallet, or with the smart contract. And as you can see, it has actually created a proposal for me to do that. I now vote. I go, yes, I do. And in 5 minutes' time, that vote should be completed. It's basically got enough to pass in there. So the main proposals that you do are typically spend proposals or text proposals in governance. So okay, so we're basically creating a text proposal for people to vote on. As you can see, it is formatted. Should be coming into my wallet anytime now. What it's also done is it's basically created an IPFS version of the content. That's where it's taken itself. Okay, so we need, and it just basically put the content into an IPFS thing, and it should be downloading here. That's what it's actually doing there, and it's sitting in IPFS. I can click on the link and actually get the IPFS thing. Again, proposals aren't stored on chain or a central database. It's all decentralized. So there's no secondary service. There's no MySQL database that we need to power this. Vote. Yep. Vote has been created. So hopefully by this time, my slow talking has helped. No, I've got another 3 more minutes. Okay, so looks like both of these have done. As you can see, is no longer a vote, is an execute, because the vote has ended and we have enough votes to vote. So hit execute, approve. Proposal has been executed. Yay. If we now go into the assets, I can now deposit HashDAO tokens. Now, the other key thing is I can actually send those HashDAO tokens to somebody if I choose to. I can also do the same thing with happy tokens or HBAR. Yeah. And
Very
this one's,
cool.
yep, this one is queued, which basically means it's done. And there you go, hi. Notice that the IPFS gets faster as people use it. That's the joy of mirroring. And yes, so there you go. If you have a look in the history, you've got that. You can see the different turnouts and so on. As far as the assets, I think we sent, did we send something to somebody? No, we just associated. We didn't actually send some tokens. If we wanted to send some tokens, we go token transfer. And the key thing here is that the user interface isn't necessarily perfect for anybody, but it is good enough so that you can see how things work and to integrate it into your own system if you choose to. There are other points where you can basically have a much better user interface which works with your design flow. The key thing is the smart contracts should work. Now, when I send money or when I send tokens, it now lists the 3 tokens that I can send to. So I'm going to send half. Now, oh, sorry, it doesn't have any yet. So I can send half of that. Now, that's not my wallet balance. That's the treasury balance. So click on next, then submit. Okay, and here is to have a service that people can use. Okay, so I've got another proposal. It's just going through there. I'm just going to ignore that one. You've seen how it works. So yeah,